Hey everyone, I am Bianca. Today I'm going to show you 10 Dollar Tree DIYs for spring that are some of my most favorite from last year. I just wanted to put a video together to start off giving you some ideas for spring. So let's get started. I picked up 4 bases from the Dollar Tree. So I have 2 really big ones. These are the biggest ones. I think they have a medium-sized one, and then I have a small one. I just wanted to get different heights. So what I decided to do is pick them up to use them as a cloche. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But they're those dome-shaped glasses that you put this way, or you buy them that way, and they have like a knob on top, and you put items inside, like a plant or, you know, decor inside of them. I'm gonna take you to the living room and show you where I'm gonna put it, and so you have a better view. So on one of them, to get some really good height, I'm going to leave it this way. I'm going to take a Dollar Tree candle holder and I'm going to glue it to the bottom to kind of make a stand. So what I did was grab some flower pots from Dollar Tree. They have these in a 3-pack. They're the really small ones because I wanted them to fit inside that. Okay, so I picked those up. And then I also have the bottom portion of a flower pot that I bought a long time ago from Home Depot. I have 2 of them that I'm gonna use, and they're really cheap. They're like $1 each or less. And then I have a couple more flower pots. I have this one, I think it's the same, is it? Yes, and I painted it white. I've actually been having this one, and then I also have this one from Dollar Tree. Something was in there, but I took it out, and I just whitewashed it. If you want to whitewash a flower pot, the best way is to use a dry bristled brush and very lightly go over it. Just build it to as much as you want or as little as you want. I'm gonna add this bottom portion to the little one, and I think to this one I might add the little flower pot. To really bring these to life, I'm gonna start adding some greenery, and then once I'm done, then I'll start adding some of my decor around there to show you how you can decorate. Now I'm using a Dollar Tree book. What I do is go and pick up a bunch of hardcovers, and I take off the paper cover on the outside, and I just check to see what color the hardcover is. And what I like to do is open it, take out a couple of pages, and put some inside of this. So just to make it a little rustic looking. Alright, so I added a couple more in there, just different heights, and I'm going to start adding decor around it. I have this little sign that I got from Hobby Lobby a while back, and it actually, I just checked, it fits perfectly inside of this, like literally barely fit, so it was perfect. When I go to Goodwill, I usually have pretty good luck at finding old books for about $2 or $3. So I like to pick up old ones like this. And look at how old that is. It's really old, from 1953. So I like to use those. And then this is a Dollar Tree one. Another old book from Goodwill. And then to the left side, I'm gonna add a couple more Dollar Tree books. And then I have this can that I've been having for a while. It was from the Target dollar spot, maybe a couple years ago, and I added some more Walmart eucalyptus to that. I grabbed this Dollar Tree basket, and I know it's green, but this was one of the only ones I could find. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint it with this chiffon chalk paint. So I took it outside and spray painted it front and back. Now what I'm gonna do is put that to the side, and I'm gonna take this Dollar Tree sign and remove the middle part that says moon, and I'm gonna use that to put inside of the basket. And I will be using the back since the front has a lot of glitter on it. So the inspiration for this came from the tobacco chipwood baskets that you see, you know, at the Hobby Lobby stores or Pinterest, and they have a cute little sign with flowers in there. So I wanted to do something like that for this DIY. I sanded that down a little bit, and now I'm just taking some white apple barrel paint and lightly going over the back and making sure I don't cover up all of that brown part, because I want it to look a little rustic looking. So once that dried, I'm taking these Dollar Tree poster stickers and I'm gonna spell out spring. The spring sign is gonna go inside the basket right here, but before I actually glue it down, I'm gonna start adding some of these Dollar Tree flowers. As you can see, it has like pink stems and greenery on it. Start just adding them on there, kind of trying to see where to put them at, and then I'll start gluing it down. I haven't glued any of this down yet. I just kind of tried to see where I wanted to put everything at, and then I slowly start to glue it in different places. I also set it up like this because since I'm gonna have the pink flowers kind of hanging down, I wanted to see how that was gonna look exactly. Lastly, I decided to add these white Dollar Tree flowers. So I start to cut off pieces of that and kind of placing them all around, and then I will glue them down as well. Once I have the flowers glued down the way I wanted, I went ahead and added the spring sign to the back. I'm just making sure it's glued down to the basket well. We are using this piece of cork and base from Dollar Tree. I have been trying to figure out something to do with this piece of cork, and it comes just like this from there. I just love the texture, so I figured I could do something with it. So I decided to use it on this base. First, I took the base outside and spray painted it about 3/4 of the way from the top to bottom with that chiffon spray paint. And of course, you can use whatever paint you want. Even black would look really nice, more of a modern look. I'm just marking off about how much of the cork square I want to use on it, and I'm measuring it for you guys. It's a little bit under 4 inches. And by the way, this ruler is from Dollar Tree. I just need to figure out the right way on how to use it, because I know there's like a specific way. But anyways, now what we're gonna do is just take that part off and put it on the bottom. And I just overlapped the cork square in the back of it, and you can cut off the excess if you want to. And I also added a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more strips of this. So this next one, as you can tell, is going to be 1 inch, and then the next strip I cut off is going to be about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and add the 1 inch strip at the top and then the 1/2 inch in the middle. So that first one was very simple. I just added some Hobby Lobby greenery in there, just a different take on how you can add more of a high-end modern look to any type of vase. And those 2 other items are from the Target dollar spot that I've been having for a few years now. Using this 3-pack of Dollar Tree buckets, I'm going to remove everything, and then I'm going to be applying some wording to the front of this. Okay, so I have these really small Walmart stickers that I've been having for a while. I think they were a little over $1, so I'm going to go ahead and use these to spell out plant, grow, and water. So one word on each bucket. And I'm starting off by putting plant on this one. And to help me out, I'm using this ruler. So once I have the 3 words on the buckets, I am going to grab more of the eucalyptus or plant transfers and add them to the center above the words on each bucket. Now I'm going to pop off all 3 of the handles. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect all 3 of the buckets with this hemp cord or twine. So what I did was just apply a knot on one end. Now I'm going to see how long I want the top handle to be. And once I figure that out, I will loop the string all the way through and then make another knot on the left end. To add all of the buckets together, I think it's just easiest to lay them down. And I'm going to use my measuring tape or ruler to kind of measure out how far in between I want them to be. I went with about 6 inches in between, and then to help me out, I marked my craft paper. Now I connect the hem cord to the second bucket on the left side, and then I'll make a knot right there. So once I finish with that left side and add that knot, I cut off that piece, and now I'm beginning a new strand on the right side. And I repeat the process on that side. So once that was done, I just hung it up right here and added some greenery on the first and bottom buckets, and then in the middle one I added some yellow flowers from Dollar Tree that I've been having for a really long time. So again guys, my walls are clean. I just need to touch up that little area in the bottom right corner and some of the white, I guess, too, which I already touched up some of my walls. I guess I just missed this part of my house. But anyways, this is the way this one turned out. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think in the comments. This next one is really simple. I'm just using this Dollar Tree watering can and adding some flowers to it just to add some spring decor to any part of your home. You can do this very easily. So as you can see, I just put it right next to this sign and added some more of those Dollar Tree flowers, and instead of cutting them, that way I can use them for something else if I need to, I just fold the bottom so they fit better in there. And if you wanted to, you could add twine to the bottom of it by just wrapping it on the bottom to make it look more rustic, or you can make a little twine bow and add it to this. I am making a little candle holder with this Dollar Tree cat bow and Dollar Tree beads. Now you're probably wondering, okay, why a cat bow? I decided to use it because the bottom is more wide. I was going to pick up, they have, you know, plastic bowls and regular glass bowls at Dollar Tree, but the bottom was too small because I want to add these wooden beads at the bottom to make it sit up a little high, or just to give it that look that I'm going for. And that's why I decided to use the cat bow instead of a regular bowl. After taking it outside and spray painting it, now I'm going to go ahead and add the beads to the top. As you can see, I was running out of paint, so I didn't paint the whole necklace. I just did what I needed. I'm going to use 3 beads at the bottom. I have Amazon beads that I've talked to you about lots of times that you can order. It's so much cheaper, and of course they come in all different sizes, and you can even stain them the way you want or leave them just like this the way I am. And I had 3 Dollar Tree beads that you can use as well, but they're smaller, and they only come in a 20 pack for $1 at Dollar Tree, of course. So I decided to use my Amazon wooden beads, and you can find them in my Amazon store, link below. So this is what I was talking to you about, that I wanted the beads to fit at the bottom, and a normal bow, it just would not look right. So I'm leaving them just like this. I'm not staining them or painting them. And yeah, I'm just gonna glue 3 of them, and it'll just give it that look that I want. I added some Dollar Tree greenery that I have had on hand for a while, and then the little battery candle inside, I've had that for a while too. They have them at Dollar Tree in a 2-pack. For the next one, on the Pier 1 website, I saw a wheel. So what I'm gonna do is use this Dollar Tree wired wreath, and it's gonna help me draw out the wheel on this cardboard. I decided to use this cardboard because I think it's just easiest for me. I did pick up a foam board, but it is really hard to cut out things. So I think it'll look better using this instead. Alright, so once that is cut out, I found a bowl in the house that I'm going to use to help me out with this part. It fit kind of perfect inside. So I'm just going to eyeball where the center is at. Alright, so there are a few ways you can go about this depending on how you want it to look or your style. You can paint this white, spray paint it white. You know, if you want a different color, you can go for that, or you can do what I'm going to do. I am taking this contact paper from Dollar Tree. Now they have 2 different ones. I have both. I'm going to use the lighter one, and I'm going to cut out a piece. Then I will apply it to this to make it look like it's wood. This is up to you on how you want it to look, on the colors you want. I'm just trying to go for kind of somewhat the same as the picture on, or the decor piece on Pier 1. My whole world has changed since baby, I got you. So wake, 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 wake I had to remove the bottom paper real quick for this part because I don't want this contact paper to get stuck to that. You need a card that you're not using. Just using a jumping world card. Uh-oh. Kind of, since it's such a thin piece, you probably won't need a card, but I'm just gonna, because you can get air bubbles, but since it's so thin, it probably won't even really be able to tell. And the good thing about this contact paper, it's very forgiving, so you can lift it up and fix it if you have to. I'm going to turn it back around. So you're going to make slits like this. And or maybe smaller. Excuse my dryer in the background if you hear that. Sorry about that. So this is the part what we were working on. We're done. So now if you're kind of picky like me and you see those kind of edges sticking out like that from folding in the contact paper, all you have to do is use your fingers and push them in. All right, for the next part, I'm going to be using these wooden dowels from Walmart. Now, I know they do have some at Dollar Tree. I don't know exactly how long they are, but I couldn't find them when I went. So I just went to Walmart and picked these up for only $1.27, which is really good, and they come with quite a few in here. We're going to go ahead and paint them. I'm going to go ahead and use 6 of them since they're really long. They have this area on the wheel that they're all white, and then it has some black on it. So first we're gonna go ahead and paint all of them white, and then when it dries, we'll add black to it. All right, so while the dowels are continuing to dry, we're gonna take these Dollar Tree buckets. I have 3 just like pictured on the website. And on Pier 1, it shows they are kind of gray galvanized, and it has like white on there and looks really rustic. So we're gonna just use some granite gray from Apple Barrel. The buckets on the website, they don't have this part, so what I can do is just remove it by squeezing like that. And then I did try to remove these, but it's really hard, so what we're gonna do is just push them in. Lastly, before we put all of it together, the middle part of the wheel, there's a circular round piece, and I'm going to use the cardboard again for this, just the scrap. Since it's mostly black with a little bit of white, I'm going to use the white area on here to make it easier for me. So I'm just taking, you know, something circular. You could even use the top, or I could even use the paint bottle too, which is probably easier. So. So for the wooden dowels, I do have to cut them because I can't put them like this and stack them all on one another. I mean, there's no way I can do that. I'm going to use my floral cutters, and they actually work really good to cut. So I'm going to turn this around and add a little bit of glue. I'm not sure if you can tell, but there are lines on this paper. This is actually Christmas paper that I was actually going to throw out, and I'm using the back side of it. I always like to use it so I don't, you know, waste it. Using the lines to help me with kind of having them or making sure that they're kind of straight. Alright, and what I did was cut another round circle to glue it at the top just to keep that in place. I took some more cardboard and I just did some strips of it. That way I can keep this secure, and I'm going to glue it like this so it stays in place. Lastly, I'm using some jute twine to secure the buckets onto here. So this is how it looks plain by itself with no flowers inside, just like on the Pier 1 website. And then I'm going to show you how it looks with some lavender inside. I'm using 2 of these Dollar Tree wooden pallets and 2 packs of the Dollar Tree rulers. First, I cut off the ends of the rulers where the hole was at. All I did was score it with my stem cutters, and then I snap them off. It's really easy. So after staining my 4 rulers and the 2 pallets, what I decided to do was take some of the white apple barrel paint and just lightly go over everything, and then I kind of just rub it off with a napkin, just depending again on the look you're going for. I really liked the way this gave it a real rustic look. Okay, so time to glue this lantern together. So what we're going to do is apply 2 of the craft sticks to this flat area. As you can see, there's a more open area on that left side. I'm not going to apply it on there because it will probably fall off because there's not enough to grab onto with my hot glue. So taking some hot glue, adding it to that area on the corner, and then I will take another ruler and apply it to the other corner on the same side. Now we're going to apply the top palette for the top of the lantern, and then I realized I forgot to paint some white apple barrel paint on one of the rulers, so I just did that real quick. And all we're going to do is lay it down like this, add some hot glue to the top, and then apply that palette. Okay, and then we're going to apply the other two rulers to complete the structure of the lantern. So once I was doing this part, I realized that this could also be a crate as well. And you can just tell by looking at it. Okay, so before gluing all of this together, I actually grabbed some beads that I just had lying around the house. They sell these necklace beads at Dollar Tree in a pack. I'm not too sure about how many, maybe 4 or 5. So I grabbed them and I took my chiffon chalk paint and painted it outside. So I'm cutting off 4 of them to add it to each of the rulers. Adding hot glue little by little, I'm going to add the beads. I love the way it looks already with the beads. But lastly, I'm going to add a faux handle with the beads. I had some remaining, and what I mean by that is that you're not really going to pick it up from there. It's just for looks. So I'm just cutting off a piece of that, and I'm going to stick it into the palette right there on the sides and add hot glue. This one came out a little bit better than I was expecting. I really love the way this looks. It is so my style. Sometimes DIYs come out better than what you think. So I'm going to be making a window pane with these 4 canvases, which I have done multiple times. And it's going to have like a little wreath and a flower box. So real fast, I'm just going to show you that I'm going to glue them together and then use popsicle sticks on the back for a secure hold. Once I remove the canvases and staples, this is how it looks. Now you can use picture frames like mostly everyone does, but I decided to use these 4 canvases instead because I wanted more of a square window pane look rather than a rectangular look, if that makes sense. Before I glue them together, I'm just going to paint them with my apple barrel white paint. If you want your window pane to last a long time, use E6000, which is an industrial glue. I'm just going to use hot glue, and I'm not worried about it falling apart because I'm going to be adding popsicle sticks to the back. So the wreath that I'm going to be putting on the window pane, I'm going to add greenery to it. I have this Walmart greenery. It's just small eucalyptus, which they are in pieces because I've been using them for everything. But I also have this Dollar Tree greenery. So it just depends on what you want to do. So I was going to use this wreath form from Dollar Tree, but I decided not to. So instead I'm using this floral foam wreath. I believe that's what it's called, from Dollar Tree. I already had a couple here around the house. I'm using hot glue in the end of whatever I have next to me just so I don't burn my fingers, but you can also put the stems inside of it if you want, of course, because it is floral foam. Now I'm going to use some Dollar Tree twine to hang up this wreath, and the little spring sign, I found it with the flowers at Dollar Tree. It says it is a wreath charm if you're looking for it. So real easily, I'm going to use twine to hang this up first, just tie a knot, and then I'm going to glue it on the back. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the spring wreath charm. For the flower box at the bottom, I'm going to use this Dollar Tree wired basket and some twine, and I'm just going to tie both ends to the window pane. So I did add some of this heavy duty Scotch tape to the middle to kind of lift up the basket a little more, but honestly it really didn't help. So I just wanted to show you that. But this tape is good for lots of different things to hang up. Now I'm adding some of these Dollar Tree flowers to the basket, but I did end up taking out the floral foam because you could see it and it didn't look that good. For this one, we're using this other wreath charm that I bought. They have different ones, as you can see. You could totally leave it like this if you'd like. This one is really pretty, but I'm gonna go ahead and change it up. First, I'm gonna paint the whole thing white with that apple barrel white paint. Oh, and I did 2 coats. So there are lots of ways to add words to this, but what I did was create a little sign on PicMonkey. So I'm just trying to figure out where the middle is at, and then I'm gonna trace it and then cut it out. The easiest way for me to use Mod Podge is by adding it to the sign or whatever you're gluing. Add a good even layer, especially on the edges. And I have this Mod Podge, I think I bought it from Walmart a long time ago, and I still have it. It's lasted me for a while, but they do sell small bottles at Dollar Tree. So what I did was just place it on top, kind of smooth it around, make sure it's centered or where you want it, and yeah, this is the easiest way, and there's no air bubbles. To reveal the hole at the top, all I did was use a pencil. And I do recommend sealing this, and the easiest way for this part is just to pour some on top. So you got a good thick layer, spreading it out very lightly and gently, not to go over it too many times because the ink will start to smear. So as you can see, I go over it real lightly, and then I do long strokes so you don't see a bunch of little brush strokes from the sponge. Now I'm adding some twine, and then I will add beads to this. I just put it through and then tie a knot first. Then I cut off the excess, and then I'll be using some Walmart beads that I've been having or using for a few DIYs now. I just took out the ones I wanted and started to string them on one by one. After stringing a few beads, the twine started to separate and it just got harder to put it through the beads. So I changed it out for a thinner one like this. And then I just finished it up, and then I tied a knot at the end. Once I was done, I realized I should have added a loop at the end in case I wanted to hang this up, so that's what I did. There are tons of ways to style these, so I'm going to show you a couple. The first one I'm showing you, I sat right here in my coffee bar area. This is why I decided to make a loop at the top in case I wanted to hang it on something like this. It looks nice both ways. Again, there are so many ideas you can do.